Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you had a great week, trading week. I mean, wow, what a week. I think we've done a pretty good job with this market. If you've been watching for a while, you saw that I was looking for a 13,400 top, and back in June, we topped at 13,900, little $500 extension, but not bad. As we started this correction, started wavering back and forth over the last couple months in really choppy fashion. I stuck to my guns looking for that 8,000 level, and we certainly have seen that in a little bit of extension lower. So the question is, am I looking for a bottom here? Ideally, yes. We don't have any sort of action suggesting that the bottom is in, of course. We're continuing to drift lower. But to me, we look like we've got the process of that starting. Now, as always, we are looking for a 5-wave reaction reversal out of our bottom targets, or they may fail. That said, we have so many deep charts. We'll look at technicals today, which are going quite deep. And so I think there's a reasonable chance that we bottom here. And we'll talk about tactics. How the heck am I trading this thing here after this really strong drop this week? We'll talk about that. So let's dive in. So Bitcoin, I've been looking for this 8,000 bottom. We've extended a little bit past that. We're hovering around 8,000 again now. Now, I want to say very clearly, you can see all these waves on here, lots of 4s and 5s. I by no means think that all of these waves are necessary. The reason I have them on my chart is we've got quite a mess from which we came down during the top, and it's potential that it's really just a 1-2 out of that top and a diagonal. So I'm giving myself some grace in trying to catch the bottom and giving it room for a lot more extensions lower based on structure. In fact, we've even got a 3-wave low here, suggesting that we've got some sort of diagonal going down if we continue to drop the way I've got this here. So I expect a very messy bottom pattern in Bitcoin. But that said, much of this correction is very typical when we zoom out to Bitcoins. Let me take a while to refresh. Pretty quick. This sort of structure, this WXY structure that I've counted, is very typical of most major corrections that we've seen in Bitcoin over the last 2.5 years have been in the structure, with the exception of a few corrections. So very orthodox in my view, but we've just got to see that bottom pattern. Now, if you tracked past videos, 7,800 is a very key level, which is a 382 retrace of the move from the December low to our high at 13,900, and so that's a very typical place where at least that's the first step for wave 2 to hit, and we're almost there. In fact, I think we graced it on the way down. I have got now. How do we manage trading this from a tactical level? Right now, I'm putting very small orders in the 7,700 region. I've stopped all shorting this market for sure. There's no risk to reward on the short side until we set up for another drop like we've had, which again I don't foresee at this point in time. But small orders now. As soon as we have clear 5-wave impulse, which hopefully we'll see if I'm talking about that next week or the following. Then we have a tighter stop, and we can put on a much larger position to ride up what I propose would be the 3rd wave. Now, I don't remember if I've talked about this, how much I've talked about this on YouTube. I know I've talked about this ad nauseum with my subscribers, but I have this alternate red view, which is the red 4. Now, I consider that completely invalid below 6,800. I consider this view based on Fibonacci structure, and I consider it low probability below 80, which means we've already seen that. So it's already sort of on life support, if you will, this red 4 count. So that's good news for the bullish action into the rest of the year. It will be likely stronger and more extended than that red would offer. And I've said, if you've seen my talks with the Money Show and whatnot, you know that I think 6-figure Bitcoin can happen within the next year or two, probably sometime next year. So that potential exists. I think we've got a lot more shaking out to do with some of the bulls out there, but we are coming into some sort of bottom process, and we'll see if it's impulsive in the reaction. One thing, I think it was the inaugural YouTube episode when I first started doing this weekly. If you remember when you were there, I talked about technicals and I talked about the RSI. One aspect I was looking for was the RSI and the weekly to breach 50 and hopefully hold, and we haven't held. We've actually breached it low. But that was a key area where below which we can consider, as long as this remains a bull market, and I consider it a bull market as long as we're above 4,300, that was a great sign that we were getting oversold. And the daily itself actually is below 30, which I was looking for as well, if you remember that first episode. So from an RSI perspective, weekly's cut a little bit lower than I wanted to. Daily looks great. And certainly the most important thing is that price has held 4,300 so far. Now, that's quite a ways down. So in my view, we'd have to set up for that drop with a corrective rally. At least normally that's the way Elliott wave structure suggests here. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get a nice reaction. Now, I think what's more important than all of this in Bitcoin is that we've got a lot of key alts which are running at sort of the end of the bullish potential. And I'm taking our most strong alts of the year and looking at them very critically, because alts have not been strong this year. And we have a few that have remained strong but are now on life support if we don't turn soon. And when I say life support, we're just deep in support. Definitely an area that can hold, and honestly the charts suggest if they will hold, they should hold in the next week or two. So that bodes well if the market will turn soon, and one of them is Ethereum. Here I'll just show you the end of Ethereum I consider bullish over 133, and right now I have a projection at least likely into the 140 region. So I'm just showing the end of this correction, but this is based on a leading diagonal off the December low. So we'll see. I've talked about Litecoin, very similar. I don't know if we're gonna get this high WXY or go in lower for this low 2, but I consider Litecoin bullish over 33. So that one looks good as long as we hold that region. And then of course EOS. Now EOS I considered potentially had bottomed in the last week or two. That has invalidated. However, the long-term support is not invalidated, which 227, 212 is the area I want to see hold in this move down before I can reconsider my bullish indications. So, or bullish take. So there it's pretty good. Now, a lot of charts. Now, watch the MACD in a lot of charts. Here we're looking at the 1 hour. I also prefer the 2 hour, and we certainly are setting up the potential of bullish divergence on the MACD and the low. Now, it's not divergence until it turns right back up off of a divergent low, but we certainly see signs of a technical bottom coming into place. So that's Ethereum, Litecoin, and EOS. Also potentially coming to bottom actions. There's a lot of other charts that we've been watching in Elliott Wave Trader that potentially are showing lows coming in, but these are a few of the favorites. I have kind of an allergy to the very small cap alts, having kind of dislike having large holdings of many coins. So I'm very much, trade top 10 market caps, even top 5. So I focus on those charts, but a lot of my subscribers like to look at those small cap altcoins and make, I don't want to say gambling, but sort of a lot of positions looking for very small, plays that make a lot of money. I'm a little bit more shy. I used to definitely play those in 2017, but I'm being a lot more cautious with my money these days. So, but we have a few of those that are coming into key areas that may hold. So that's where we're at this week. Again, this market has played pretty well to our expectations over the last 2 months. Nothing has been a surprise. The only thing I would say is surprise to me is that the chop made it very difficult to short for me to stick in. I don't like to hold a lot of leverage overnight, especially in a short position within a larger bull market, because surprises happen. I found it very hard to stay into a short, even though the market did largely exactly what I was calling for. But regardless, it's always easier to be long than short. So I'm looking forward to taking positions in this area. A little bit down in this 700 is where I have some of my orders in that region. And then once we see an impulsive reaction, I'll be looking higher and increasing my position with a very tight stop, which will be afforded by or provided by that 5-wave impulsive move and structure. So that's all I have for this week. If you follow me, this is no surprise. This sort of mood I'm in. You should at least have expected it. This would be my note. Nothing I say is given. As always, markets are dynamic, and I may change my view. That said, over the last 2 months, nothing has been a surprise.
All right, guys, have a great week. I'll see you on Twitter and see you here the following week. And again, if you like what you see and you like what you've seen over the last 2 months, come get a free trial. We don't come after you and push this real hard. If it's for you, it's for you, and if it's not, it's not. So anyway, that link will be in the comments, and we'll see you soon. Bye.